dreams comes true when we work for it, when we really see the dream from our core faith. We always talk about the family environment, but these days it is also an urgent need to have a look at into the society, the young people and their dedication, and how young people are really making some impossible things possible, how young people are working for peace building, how young people are taking the challenges. And when we talk about the young people, that means, of course, there is a certain age when especially the young people are not get married, means I'm talking about the single. But after the long term of service, when they get married, and when we find that the young people, those who have served the society with their dedication, the values they have been patronized, that has some sort of impacts in their family life. And when we talk about the Catholic families, yes, that's their values enrich more and give much more to the family and for the next generation. Dear viewers, welcome to our channel Seeking of Values. This program is being broadcasting from Canada, Toronto. This is John Bonney production. Today, our program, we kept our main theme is Seeking of Values, Dedicated Young Couple and Experiences. And the slogan is, Here we are, Lord, if you call us. And our guest today is Manoj Matthew and Minuka Matthew and their family. They have two kids. Gregory is the eldest child of their family, and Gabriana is the only daughter, the youngest one. Welcome to our Seeking of Values channel. In Bangla, we always say Namaskar, Shabaike.
Thank you, Bonnie, for having us.
Thank you, Bonnie.
Yeah, it's our pleasure to have you and you guys make some time for us today. How are you all guys? How is it going?
Yeah, all well, keeping healthy in this very challenging times. Yeah.
Right. How did you find the pandemic time? Especially, it's still we are going through on it, but how are you handling with this time?
Well, we find ourselves quite fortunate because we used to be based in Delhi. And as many of you might have known, Delhi had very bad experience when it comes to COVID. But before that, we had to come to our native place in Kerala. So it's like going to be almost 11 months that we are based in Kerala. So it's more of a countryside. Since we are working from home, studying from home, we have taken that opportunity to more connect with the home place. So we are out of those metro, very busy city life, and we are more in kind of more of a village life right now during the pandemic, but still connected with everyone.
Oh wow, that's great. And I believe like you guys have some different experience in this COVID time, more relaxed, more time passing with the family. Greg and Gabriana has to stay at the home, no school.
Yeah, yes.
Greg, did you enjoy the time? Did you enjoy the time when school was closed? Did you enjoy it?
No, I didn't enjoy.
Why?
Because there's no fun when you're staying home except for your parents. When you can go to school, you meet a lot of friends, you learn, you do exercises, and it's very fun.
It's very fun, right? to, like, when you, especially schools are open, going to friends. Staying
Yeah.
home every day, 7 days is a boring task. So sometimes maybe now it's the time to think, like, when your mother stays home and for some reason at the home for a couple of months, so how boring it can be for her, right?
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Dear viewers, today the family, the couples we have, they have some sort of background, I would say. Especially they have served for the Catholic Church. When we talk about the call, they also had the call, I would say, or will say the vocation to serve the international movement. And we all know the movement, that's YCS, Young Christian Students Movement. So these Manoj and Menuka, both of them, uh, they're rooted from the with the YCS, and they were not only the member of YCS, they were the leaders at their local level, and then they become the leaders at their national level, and they had that courage to serve the movement at the Asian level, and of course after that the international level. So we will listen the story today from them. So, Manoj, if you could tell us in a brief about your vocation in the YCS, how did you find that movement? You could have been joined other movement too, right? But why YCS?
Thank you, Bonnie, and all the listeners. I was delighted to be part of this program, Seeking of Values. Talking of the YCS, it all happened in school days. In fact, I was part of few movements back in the school, but an animator invited me. Her name is Sandra Mondal. She invited me to join the movement. It was a call. If she had not invited, I would have never heard about the YCS or joined. But the process started, then I have been accompanied and fortunate to have great chaplains like Father James Chaco, with whom we worked in the movement in Calcutta Archdiocese in West Bengal. So yeah, the it was very interesting because it was an opportunity to meet other Catholic students, mainly from different schools in the archdiocese. That was a primary motivation, I would say. But my first exposure was on the interfaith prayer organized by the YCS, where I was supposed to take uh, somebody from the Muslim community to read the Quran. So I asked my chemistry teacher to accompany me, and then this program was held in Loreto and Cali, and every student was given also other opportunities like from other religion, and I could see the vibrancy of then the leadership organizing this interfaith prayer. But then slowly I was invited. I got elected to be part of the executive committee of the Archdiocese of um, Archdiocese of Calcutta. Excuse me, my daughter is yawning. Yeah, it's Onam here in Kerala. It's the Harvest Festival, so it's like a holiday. We feasted a lot. We just woke her up from sleep to join the show. Yeah, just to go back to the YCS, it's meeting of young people, but also connected with issues. We had different programs, including a wonderful program known as the Gospel Expression, where I recollect the theme was Jesus yesterday, today, and tomorrow. So all the YCS units in the archdiocese was given the responsibility. How do you showcase Jesus in your life? So different initiatives were done to give students a community fellowship so that they understand the true meaning of belonging to a national international movement. We hosted the Asian Session and Council in India. That was where I was elected to the Asian office. I served 3 years, 2000 to 2003, in the Philippines as the Asian coordinator. followed by 4 years as the Secretary General of the movement based in Paris. It's an humbling experience to be part of this movement. We treasure, we value the networks that we have created over years, and we continue to contribute in small little ways where we can to share our inspirations, share our learnings, the importance of the See Judge Act, and helping people to understand the review of life is important in life. Sometimes we fail and we look back at the YCS and it gives us hope to carry on, that we need to make difference as lay people. And today as a family, we're happy and to carry on the values that the YCS has given through its members, through its animators and chaplains across the world.
Right. We'll come back to you. I know there's a lot of stories, like 4+3, 7-year stories you were telling in 4 minutes. So there are so many things still need to be asked. We'll come back to you. Great. Let's go for a song. We know that you are very good in playing and singing, and let's have something from you now.
Okay. This is Mama's favorite song, On Top of the World.
Okay.
Such a feeling's coming over me. There is wonder in most everything I see. Not a cloud in the sky, but the sun in my eyes, and I won't be surprised if it's a dream. I'm on the top of the world, looking down on creation, and the only explanation I can find is the love that I found ever since you've been around. Your love's put me at the top of the world. Thank you.
Wow. Thank you, Greg. That's so quick, nice, and sweet. Thank you so much. Gabriela, how are you today?
Say hello, Bonnie.
Oh, you feeling sleepy?
Say hello, Bonnie.
I'm sorry for putting.
Say hello, Bonnie.
It's okay. If she want to sleep or something, she can go to bed, no problem. Or if she feel bored, or make yourself comfortable.
Hi.
Oh, hello. Oh, wow. Hi. It's nice to hear from you. So today, Gabriela, Greg, we are listening story from your parents. They had adventurous life past, and those stories we are listening today. Minuka, now it's your turn. Like, why YCS, and how did you find that call?
Well, why YCS is it's not by just choice only. At exactly 25 years ago, I joined YCS when I was in class 8. It was actually a gift from my cousins that who took me to the meeting. It was on my birthday. They said, "Okay, we give you, our gift is taking you for YCS." So just like that, I joined, and why I stayed in YCS is because I found it very different in terms of every time whenever I engage with YCS, it challenged me as a person, as an individual. It really challenged the way I think, the way I used to think. Because in vices, it always gives the responsibility towards us as an individual, and we have to take responsibility of our choices, and that is kind of a challenge, a weight that gives, but also that makes us a better person, I find. So the more I spend time in vices, I find I'm challenged. So I liked it, and I come from a very traditional family, from a very traditional society. So my way of thinking changed a lot in a good way, I would say. So the choices I make in life as well. So yeah, that's why I was with YCS as a student for some time, and then when it come to leadership and especially joining Asian team, that was another challenge where it was not that easy to make that decision. I was only 19 years old when I joined Asian team, just 20 probably, and so it was a choice I made, and I was already trained to take responsibility of choices that I made. So yeah, and the movement continued to grow, helped me to grow also. And I in summary, I would say why vices is because it helped me as an individual to understand my responsibility as a person, and also the responsibility towards the church. So here for me, church doesn't mean my responsibility only to the Catholic Church. I was part of the ecumenical movement representing the Catholic Church for like around nearly 7 years. So with the WCC. So that also showed how me as a more wider church, my contribution, how to connect the churches, how to build solidarity. So me as a person, and also to the church, and also to the community that we live in a community where different religions, different ethnic groups, all kinds. It's a mix, right? Our societies in South Asia. So I would say movement helped me. I'm a Sri Lankan. Now I live in India, in Delhi, now in Kerala. So we were formed to just adapt and respect wherever we live. So yeah, that's what I think I would say, that why YCS that I continued. Yeah.
Wonderful. Manoj, maybe so many listeners, they are not understanding what is YCS, or like especially the YCS Asia international team, what we are talking about. So means means if people doesn't know, and I'm sure that maximum YCSers, they have no idea about the structure of the YCS. And what I can remember, like the IYCS structure was refurnished during your term when you were the Secretary General. So I would say that you are the YCS structure expert. Can you please tell us in a brief about the YCS structure, please, Secretary General?
Yeah, I think we should first recollect the roots of the YCS. So it goes back to this amazing Belgium priest known as Joseph Cadine, who becomes the father of the YCW, the Young Christian Workers. And during the Industrial Revolution in Europe, uh, people lived in difficult conditions, either working in coal mines or factories associated to it. And he could see a lot of young workers working very odd hours and in very difficult circumstances, which did not respect the human dignity of a worker. So he created an opportunity for them to meet together in groups to reflect about their life. So the YCW was created, the Young Christian Workers, to enable the workers to come together and reflect about their life and in their relationship uh, with with the society, in relationship with the church, and how they can solve their own problems. So Cardine, biggest contribution is the review of life, which we call the See, Judge, and Act, which basically means awareness, reflection, and action. This enables individuals to look into their life, be it a worker or in the student movement, is the student's life, how I as a student is living a student life, and also look in the reflection of what would Jesus do to solve the problems that a student encounters in the world, and have some actions in a individual or in a group level. So the cell meeting was one contribution from the YCW. So when the children of the YCW were inspired across Europe, they created the YCS because they could see the parents gathering together in small groups talking about their life. So the natural growth of the YCS came into the picture. And then the World War came, the Second World War, and the students' movements were not very organized those days. They're very informal. But in 1946, the IYCS, the International YCS, was created because it's created because 8 YCS national movements came together to form a documentation center in Paris, which later became the International Secretariat of the YCS. And the movement grew in many parts of the world as lay people went across the world to evangelize, to talk about the movement, but also greater contribution to the global systems like the UNESCO education, the Human Rights Council, currently the commissions before, and participation in various international consultation contributed the participation of the role of the lay people, the role of youth in the world. So the movements grew across, and we in Asia were fortunate to have movement pioneers from Sri Lanka or from Australia come to India to expand the movement. And we today I think we should be very grateful to one other Belgian sister, the ICM sister, Sister John Devos, who was the founder of the movement in India, who has established small groups in Chennai, then Madras, to create the whole idea of young students in schools. They talk about their life, and that's the structures. The structure, most important structure, the YCS, is that in schools or parishes, that is cell of 12 people that gather together every week to talk about their life. And then it's the diocese. They're part of a diocese or archdiocese. They are then part of the region, and then they are contribute to part of a national movement like the Bangladesh YCS or the YCS YSM in India or the YCS Sri Lanka. These are the South Asian movements. They belong to the Asian coordination, where the Asian activities programs are done, and all the YCS movement in the national level are affiliated to the international YCS. And the international YCS, the highest body, gathers together in the form of the World Council. And the World Council elects the office bearers and provides the mandate to the office bearers to organize, run the movement so that to experience international solidarity. So that during our time, HIV/AIDS was one of the very important things. And I often give the example that we in India or Bangladesh should know how our brothers and sisters in Africa are suffering with HIV/AIDS. So the movement created a great opportunity for students to come and talk about their life. Students from Middle East talked about peace and conflict with students in Africa. We all had a lot of conflicts in the 90s, and the movement also has been pioneers in peace building and the contribution to the church. So, in a nutshell, it's a movement based in schools and parish, is connected. We are recognized by the Holy See and also recognized with special statuses in the UN ECOSOC, and which allows many of our members to participate and understand the global governance system, and not just a movement based in books. We are a movement of action. We tell and encourage young people to act, to put their words into action, and that's why we have a spirituality. It's called the spirituality of action, which comes from the methodology of see, judge, and act. Yeah, that's
Now,
it. Tell you a little bit on that.
now it's
Yeah.
ice breaking time. Who's gonna do the action song?
Now Bonnie is going to do that.
Okay, as it's my turn to do the action song, we have a video clip created for you, so made by John Shumon Gomez. Shumon, let's see what Shumon made for us. Shumon, please. Thank you, Shumon, for creating the wonderful video clip. Actually, you guys have so many of pictures, so maybe Shumon was confused what to put, which program to put. So he just say, okay, whatever. So,
but interestingly, Suman probably have not been able to bring the YCS, because those days we did not have Facebook. Facebook was towards the almost ending part of our mandate. Imagine, if Facebook was there during our mandates. Yeah, good. But I think someone did a great work. It also shows most of the pictures are also professional engagement back after the YCS in India. But there are also some beautiful photographs of the YCS memories. Thank you, Suman.
Yeah. So, Minuka, so you told that when you were at your 19 years old, when you were at your 19, that time you took your decision to serve in YCS Asia. So how did you manage it? Like 19 years old girl, she gonna serve the Asian office in the Philippines. So from Sri Lanka to Philippines and taking the huge responsibilities. and there was some issues always in the family, like study break. There was the 19 years old is a full-time student's time, so you're going to give a break and go and serve. Let's listen your experience, because your experience will inspire our young people for our future leaders, that how you managed, so they might need to manage too.
Okay, so yeah, it was very difficult in not for me, but for my family, because it's the time that you decide on your career, you take up your next level of education, college. Well, I in fact started for a certain degree, but then I think it was Father Carlton de Silva. He was my chaplain that time, who really inspired me to take up the Asian team call on joining Asian team, because till then there was no South Asian student who had joined the office.
Good.
So yeah, a girl from South Asia had not joined the office by the time. I think it was probably how many years? I'm not sure. For that long, there was no female person from South Asia. So I took it as another challenge, and I tried my best to convince my family, and somehow got there, not knowing what is next in terms of my personal life. Like as you said, I had to take a break from studies, and in fact, after I got married, only I managed to complete my college, then the masters and everything. And still, it's on the way. Like my study life continues. And anyway, it was tough in terms of, because it is something out of the box, right? So many people met that time, even the people from the movement was telling why, you should have not, you should make use of, your studies first and all this. But though it was challenging, I had a very good team to help me as well. So I had three chaplains: Father Vincent from India, Asi, she's a teacher from Malaysia, Penang, and Alex Lee, he's a former Asian team member from Korea. And also very much my teammate, Haunan, he's from Thailand, who was much experienced than me. So somehow I did not feel that difference, and that I being too young, of course, whenever I tell my age, everyone was, oh, you're too young for this. And in the beginning, it bothered me a lot. But then no, I didn't care it anymore. And you, Bonnie, might remember I'm very talkative. And so somehow I coped up with that. Yeah, so culturally it was challenging to adapt in Philippines, but as I said, the movement has already, made us so trained in a way that we can survive anywhere with any kinds of people. And we actually, in fact, very fortunate. I lived in a house where we were like from 5 different countries, including different parts of Asia. So we had a lot of differences, but we lived together despite all those differences. So those kind of very different, not very usual things, I think, inspired us to keep going. And of course, definitely the students that we worked with. Of course, students will always bring you that kind of fun, right? Keep us alive in a very different way. So
Very
that
relaxed.
all those things contributed. And yeah, and now when I look back, I even tell my kids, especially Gregory, that I don't think that much better thing could have happened in my life other than joining Asian team with all those challenges. Yeah.
Yeah, that's true, because you're flying here and there always. You had to travel internationally a lot
Yes,
of
yes, yeah,
places.
very often. And that it's not very luxury when it comes to, we didn't go and stay in hotels. we always stayed with students, and not always we had people coming to pick us at the airport, right? We had to find our way in very strange countries that we never been to, places where we don't know the language at all, but and the types of food. But I think we managed it, right? It's the kind of that adaptability we were used to. Yeah.
Yeah, this is what, dear viewers, maybe some of you don't understand what we are talking about. We are talking about our journey, our service as a young time, like when we were our 90s or 20s, when we served internationally. When this young lady served, how to say, FABC youth desk, when this young lady represent YCS at the United Nations, um, when this lady served, means represent herself at at EasyNet, ecumenical, uh, what is EasyNet stand for? Ecumenical Asia
Asia
Pacific
Pacific
Students and
Network.
Students and Youth
Yeah.
Network.
network, yes. So you see that a 19 years old girl, when she is wearing a shoes of huge responsibilities, representing million, how to say, the million of students at the international level, even not in the movement, as a representative of a movement, working with the government people, working with the different denomination of the church, taking challenges, writing project, raising funds. Minuka, tell us something about the fundraising facts, what your experience in IYCS Asia. There was always something that I saw. The laptop is always at your arm. You are going wherever you're going, laptop like this, going writing. Bonnie, wait a minute. Let me. I remember a point. Let me go and write down. I remember your busy days because I was your successor. Like after you give me your pair of shoes. The Bonnie, it's your time to wear. So you are the one of the person who trained me before giving me
Yeah,
that.
I think we met first in Kathmandu, right? 2004, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, in
You were
Kathmandu.
student. You were student in the South Asian program preparation in a
Right.
very very cold place, in a hill area. Yeah, it was very. So yeah, fundraising is always the agenda in our things to do list, things to talk list, and I think it's. See, we are not just given the responsibility, right? We were always given transmission, and I had a very good transmission from Manoj. He was my predecessor, and then Lucille Alcala from Philippines. So I was like given a very good transmission, and also the other good thing in Vices is that the alumni, the former members of Asian team, international team, as well as the other level of student. So they were always supportive. Not either, I don't mean supportive in terms of financing, but in terms of advising, connecting us to people. And I think during that time, in the absence of all this social media and this much of technological advancement in terms of communication, we had a kind of face to face, in person meeting and talking our what we want to do. And that that encounter created so much trust with us and whoever wants to partner with us, with the organization, with YCS in that time. So that those connections were very strong, because I remember I had to go to in Europe, especially in Germany and France, to raise funds for a exchange program between India and Pakistan. So I had visited Pakistan as a Asian coordinator, and during that time, they that visitation led to this exchange. So it was a cross-border project, and this has not happened before in the movement. So I had to really convince those funding partners to help us get this going. And I remember it was, I'm coming from, from a small organization, but the idea mattered to them. And it's the ideas that we generated in YCS, even in the Asian level, but of course those all developed from small grassroots levels, right, from the cell students. So those ideas mattered, and that is where it's not about the money, it's about how to execute a certain idea in a more constructive, organized way. So I think that's where Vices that time was able to raise those funds and get things
Right. Yeah, these are the like when we work in our versus Asian team, especially, we have no boss. Like it's you have to work on your own. Nobody is monitoring you. Like
Yeah.
that's something like rich experience in your life.
Mm.
And I remember the Manoj made something happen. He took a big challenge for the World Council, and I would say like Manoj, your fundraising expertise for the World Council in 2007, Kampala, Uganda, right? So there were some World Council were missed in the history. So you restarted and somehow you managed. How did you take that challenge?
So the World Council, as I mentioned, it's the highest body of the international YCS. It happens every 4 years, but unfortunately, because of financial circumstances, it never happened after 1991. So in my team of Father Mike Beebe, Dominican priest from South Africa, and Margareta Brosnan from Australia. So we were colleagues who, along with you and many of the coordinators in Asia, Africa, Latin America, Europe, and Middle East, decided that we should have the World Council. So it is that conviction that the coordinators, members wanted, that we took up this gigantic challenge to bring over 160 students across almost 60 plus countries. Like I think 63 countries were represented then. So it was an opportunity for us, for the movement to come together to reflect our journey, because 2006 was 60 years of the foundation of the international YCS. So, and we also were going through a different time period where technology was coming into picture. Websites were there, people were having ease of e-communication, the emails was rampant, no more letters were just vanishing. So we took up the challenge and we brought around 24 partners across the world to fund this project, to enable students to spend 2 weeks in this fantastic country of Uganda, and hosted by the Bishops' Conference there, the UNN Bishops' Conference, and the YCS movement in Uganda.
4 years of communication.
Yeah, I mean, it just reminds me, it's a 4 years of communication. It's a constant update, and for us, we believe that it need to happen and it must happen. So, and the visits to the funding agencies was to communicate. We kept them updated of every euro or dollar that is received, what was the progress of the project, where we are heading. So, and I found it uh, very interesting how the partners have agreed and they contributed to the success of the World Council, where we talked about peace as one of the main important agenda, how how young people as peacemakers. We also spoke about international issues globally, and it was a rich experience for many of the formation of understanding, also understanding Africa. It was a great opportunity for the World Council to be hosted in the modern day Uganda, and and the hospitality of the African community and the African movement. Yeah, so fundraising is all about relationship. Now, I've been always saying that we need to build that trust. We need to show transparency among us and our and who contributes to our kitty. Money does not belong to us. We had access to lots of funds, but every coin mattered and every coin was accounted, and we had put good systems in place. We had a dedicated accountant based in our office who monitored every movement of the money. And so, yes, so fundraising in the movement is done by the members. So many often people think that, oh, YCS somewhere the church has given a lot of money and they are going to spend a lot of money. No, it's we are an independent private entity that gathers the money from the membership, from generous donors and partners who believes in ideas that could bring people together, and especially the students together. And those ideas were convinced by those partners then. Yeah, it takes courage and conviction to raise funds, but it's very difficult thing. I can say it so easily, but I know there are difficult experiences of how you lose fundings also. But there are plenty of funds available. The movement needs to aspire what they want to do and change what they're currently focused and show those ideas to the world, and the world would be happy to donate.
Thank you, Manoj. Yeah, the reason behind of like discussing the fundraising issue, because of in our national movement, they don't understand like how the program is being organized, from where the money is coming. Um, like those who are listening today or in the future, those who are watching this live, especially our YCS people, remember that this this Minuka, this Manoj, they had so much of sleepless nights. In Asian Secretariat, Minuka was writing project all night, stressed, sending the project proposal, whether it's granted or not, looking at the budget, coordination bill, this and that, right? So much of things here and there. For Manoj, he has to like take so many challenges to raise fund. So this is what I'm telling. Like the money was not kept in any almari or any drawer. Just somebody will give the key and open it. It's not like that. We can say that we had to beg money internationally from the different funding agencies here and there. So that's why national movements need to realize their role, how locally they can raise fund. That can be another issue. So let's, before going to the next agenda, I'm sorry, Gabriana, you might be feeling so bored. Greg also feeling little boring, but no choice. We can see our futures. Greg, are you belongs to the YCS there?
Are you in YCS? Not yet.
Not yet.
Next year?
Probably.
He's in class 7. He just started class 7. Yeah.
Okay. That's good. And maybe you don't know that Gregory's another name is Cardine, and we are very happy. Like we are happy that his name was kept Cardine because the family is inspired by the Cardine. Because Minuka and Manoj, both of them work for the YCS. Not only worked, it's their life, and that's why they kept Greg's name as Gregory Cardine Matthew. So Gregory, let me call you Cardine. Shall we listen another song from your part?
Sure. Say the name of the song.
So I shall be playing All to Jesus I Surrender.
Okay.
All to Jesus I surrender, all to Him I freely give. I will ever love and trust Him, in His presence daily live. I surrender all. I surrender all to Thee, my blessed Savior. I surrender all.
Thank you.
Wonderful. See, I like this. I like this. And I don't know, I'm getting the spirit back of my, how to say, when did I leave the team? Like 20 years back or 15, 11 years back when I was in the movement. And means today I'm just feeling like, oh, wow, we all are connected and now talking something which is very common in the page. Manoj, tell me something about yourself, like when as a boy, right, you were the eldest son of your family that time, and you have decided to join the Asian team, and it looks like you are going to give a huge kind of study break. So what are the challenges you faced during that time before taking the decision of becoming an Asian team?
Thank you, Bonnie. 2000, a very important year, the year I finished my undergraduate from this Jesuit college, St. Xavier's College in Kolkata, and also did a year of diploma in computing, and which I never practiced in professional life. And this opportunity came that the national movement suggested my name to be as a candidate. So then the national chaplain, Father Prakash Sagali, had put the nomination with the team of students and animators after consultation. Yeah, so when I was elected in Madras, in the Asian Session and Council, that's the council that the first time the Vietnamese came out after many years of working underground. They first time came up to the surface, and I remember a few things that comes into mind. My parents knew what I am up to, but my friends, most of them were non-Christians. They said this guy is going to be a priest. So that was the big talk around, oh, Padri banne wala hai, means he's going to be a priest. So he's going to Philippines now. Yeah, so that was one. Second, we were trained. We come from also a culture that you work so that you go and earn. So the vision is always that, okay, you go to some Middle East country and work somewhere and earn for the family. But unfortunately, that all those things never happened. So I had to leave for a different cause, and our payments were kind of a different thing. It's a small contribution to survive.
Right.
Unlike what we call the salaried people. But I think the YCS is still the biggest contribution to my life, my professional life. And I understand all what I've done in the last 12 years back in India, working with various international organizations, think tanks.
Manoj, give me a second, please.
Sure.
Shuman, I think your translator is not working good. I can see like in some words or sentence coming up. It's something is wrong there. Just check the translator before putting the scroller. Thank you, Shuman. Manoj, please.
So I was just saying how people have different expectations of who I ought to be. But when I look back and my last 12 years in India, all what the YCS has contributed helped me to be a better person professionally, as you and Menu has experienced, that it helps you to be a better administrator, better trainer, better fundraiser, better organizer. Um, as a student, I was always an organizer. But then the Asian chaplain, the De La Salle brother, Brother John De Cruz, he introduced the importance of formation, and that triggered me a lot that we are in the right space. He often helped us to understand that the YCS is an alternative movement, an alternative education, where he said, if you want to teach John maths, if you want to teach John maths, you need to know first John. So basically, what he tells us is that the teacher and the student needs to build a relationship, and then only they can learn. And that reminds me of the horrible teachers I had at my school, especially the maths teacher who hammered me in the school. And basically, I realized that I did not learn anything from him because we had that friction. But I learned many other things from the teachers who were caring, loving, were able to understand who we are. So I think the movement helped me as an individual to forgive, forget, also to absorb the office reality, working in the office. Yeah. So overall, I would say what one of our chaplains back in Calcutta say: in giving you receive. So the more you give, the more you receive. So I'm grateful that the amount of things that I've given or sacrificed, it has come back to me in tenfold, hundredfold. And I'm always grateful to the experience of movement, which unfortunately our children's, I don't know, will experience or not. Or the world is stopped with the pandemic. So hopefully the world will open, the students will get a chance to explore and see the vibrance. It's not just the YCS, it's across the world. We need to change, our structures need to change. The structures that you often refer may be good in our times, but may not be relevant today. It needs new thinking, new leadership, and new way of looking how students can play important role. And that goes to the participation of the laity in the church, which is one other important thing. We are examples of the Catholic youth in the world, in the church, and the church needs to embrace people who are trained by the movement, because they are not the movement of the school students where they're always singing action songs, which is a traditional concept that many chaplains and many church leaders think that YCS is all about sing song. No, it's a movement deep down, talking about issues, talking about variety of interconnectedness about society, the world, the global processes, the global issues, and what the students are contributing. So the laity in the church is a very important thing, and the YCS and many other movements. Our example, like the IMCS, the Pax Romana, which is celebrating 100 years now, it's a great example of how a movement has contributed to the church, and develop amazing leaders across the world, who are professors, teachers, intellectuals, who contribute to build the Catholic acumen of thinking in the process. And they are able to be the true Christian today, because a true Christian is the one who practices in the space that they exist, maybe in the school as a teacher, or as a worker in the office, or maybe as a businessman. Many Christian movement members are business people. So they have to exhibit that. And whenever we as individuals fail, we look back and are able to say that here we have failed, why we have failed, can we review our life? And that's where the methodology of the See Judge Act comes into the picture. So when I left home, there was a lot of confusion back home, not among my parents, but among my friends. But when they look at me today, they see the transformation, what I've contributed, and we grew to be better people. Yes, that's it, Bonnie, on my end on that.
Yep, that's great. Like maybe this is not this is a live program though, but this is something we are doing today is an archive for the Catholic Church. So the story of the life, sometimes we might feel like okay, it's just wasting of time, but the thing is like the real story of the life is always go so simple and normal. So we'll keep it up. We are recording it. Maybe the future leaders of YCS need to listen those documentary today. What you are sharing. Yeah. So that's wonderful. Like you have contributed a lot for the movement. We listened some story about the movement from you, and here is the connection that both of you started to just study again, and you guys are successful and you are managing it. So maybe this is something is giving a huge message for the career specialists, those who are telling, oh, you are going to go for a study break, I don't know how you're going to manage it, blah blah, this and that, no, it's not going to happen. So the when you joined the team, you had to listen those kind of discouraging how to say stories from the comments from the career specialists, so called, and now you have finished your mandate and came back and start your education. Shall we listen what you're doing, Minuka? Like, what's your study now? What you as we heard that you are still as a full-time student.
Yeah, I'm currently not a full-time student. I'm currently a teaching and research fellow. But I did start my studies after my marriage, and I went back to Sri Lanka to finish my college, and then I came in India while I was expecting Gabriana. I started my masters. So yeah, I have studied in very great challenges, but I think their studies should never stop. Whether you're married or not, you have kids or not, whether you have a career or not, also. So my interest of studies came. I mean, the choice of studies is mainly public policy. I have studied public policy. So if public policy is something that can bring solutions to a lot of problems in the society. So this is something what we have been trying to figure out also as a student in YCS. So there we were looking for solutions from the church, as a Christian. But as I took up my studies forward, now it's more of how governments can bring change policies or bring policies to as solutions for the society. So that is what I've been studying, and now I am teaching it as a teaching fellow. And I'm also a researcher. So my research area is mainly on labor and refugees. So what I meant by I'm still studying is it's a continuous process. I read a lot and I write also on, especially to do with labor, refugees, and access to public health. So these are the three areas that I focus, and I look forward to do a PhD as well as I continue my studies. Yeah. So the main thing is you should never stop, because it's the tradition, or the very it's a norm that you're married, you're done, that that's it, you focus on your kids' studies. Maybe some people think of me also like that, why she's not just focusing on the kids' studies. And but what I study about public policy, even Gabriana, the 4-year-old, knows. She knows what is mama doing, and of course Gregory, it's very helpful for him. We make him understand how economy functions, and now what is happening in Afghanistan. We are very connected with that, and we have friends in Afghanistan who are really stuck, and trying to get out of the country. So Gregory can give a speech even about what's happening in Afghanistan, because that much awareness we don't teach him, but because we are engaged in discussions, even during our meals, chit chat times, we pray also for these kind of countries and people during our family prayers. So that helps us as a family also to, whatever we study and read, connect to our children. Hopefully they take it forward. Yes.
Wow. So yeah, this is what something we all need to know from your life, that how you are managing your family, right? And you are still studying. You are now planning to do your doctorate, and you'll make it. So yeah, and Manoj told us he is. I'm sorry, Manoj is a full-time student, if I'm not mistaken. Are
Yes.
you right? You just maybe go back to school. Okay. Okay.
Yeah, this might shock many of my friends and family members, because I'm just a full-time student. Just 1 week ago, I'm doing a master's in arts and also in public policy from the same university Menu graduated. So it's a full-time program. Hopefully, in few months, I'll be back in the campus. Yeah, but during the last few years, I also took an undergrad degree in journalism and mass communication also. So I agree with what Menu says. We should continuously study and break all the myth that has been created by this education system, our family members, priests, principals, teachers. We should show that it's possible, that education is not the school or the college that we do to get work. Education is something that you enjoy learning. Unfortunately, this message has not gone to many of our students. It's all about you have to study to get work. But here we are studying for not for work. Here we are studying to understand the global problems and see how better we can organize. It enables us to read and write from the chaoses of life. It's also a high discipline of who you are as parents when you have two kids, and when you have other work. I also do other work. I'm also full-time into it. I'm on a transition to do other things. So it's a responsibility we take. It's a risk. And what we have seen is that you invest, you get it back. And it's expensive affair to do studies. Expensive affair, because we are going to some of the best universities in India. We are paying hefty lot of money, and we believe that those would help a generation of young people to be inspired and also contribute to the global processes. So education must be encouraged to all our members, all our Catholic community, all the Christians, or non-Christians also, that if you are interested to study, go join study. And not necessary you have to go to a formal setup like what we are going through. There is huge online courses available, platforms that you can learn. Though gone are those days that we have to go to a library. We were talking a library recently. you have access, digital access to digital archives, books, research papers that you can read and write. So, we as a family believe that keep studying and don't look at the results, but it makes you a better person, a better contributor to the society, and also in return to the family in large.
Wonderful. This is what we need to like. We were missing to listen. So that's what you both just shared, and thank you for the journey you are having together. You are taking care each other's dream, is especially in regards to your career, and of course, as you both two are united, of course, together as a family. Hope your though your careers might be different, but you guys gonna work for the same destination. I mean, the world peace, you know, and responding the severe issues on the earth. As you are now connected with the Afghanistan and things, we know that like so many issues gonna come up, but you guys gonna be there as a defender of the lay, and of course the vulnerable people. Well, so I know it's not easy to sit in front of the camera 1 hour 11 seconds 50, okay, 59, okay, sorry, blah 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 blah, 1 hour 12 minutes. It will be go more. So let me ask you the last questions. What is your call for the young people and young families these days? Let's start with Minuka. As you are, how to say, breaking the trends and myths, in the light of that, you're gonna, I'm expecting your answers. Your call for the young people and families, yeah.
Okay, so you mean to say young families?
You can talk first about the young people and then
Okay.
the young couples.
Okay, so for the young people, I would say, given today's context of life, that is very fast, so much of communication taking place, and so much of choices you have, right, today for young people. I want to say two things. One is that you need to prioritize identifying your potentials, like what is your talent, what is it that you want to be, uh, and do it, you have to focus on it, what you want to be, and that what you want to be can change in the process, but you had to get started, not just go by the trends or go by what others say. Of course, you need to get advice and understand what, when you're making certain decisions and choice about what you want to be, but work hard for that. And always don't take only the easy way to get there, but even if the way is difficult, hard, challenging, but just go ahead. And the second thing I want to say is you need to build consciousness. Consciousness is something that, according to my experience of today's young people, they lack. We work hard, we get good grades, but that we lack consciousness, consciousness as a Christian, consciousness towards yourself as a person, consciousness towards your family, and as a vice versa, probably, to the movement itself, but more to your family, your surrounding, and your society. You got to be conscious of what's happening, not we have a lot of comfort, but you have to be conscious that there are majority doesn't have that. And our purpose of life as a Christian is to bring that changes, right, to make others life better. So as a young person, while you're working hard for what you should achieve, you also need to be conscious. So if you can connect this two, you are, like Manoj earlier said, you are investing and you will also get returns. Returns doesn't mean, your bank accounts are good to do, but it's returns that we as Christians who need to achieve in life. So that's basically what I want to say for the young people, for the young families, or those who yeah, what to say, yeah, those the young families with small kids and all. Yeah, I think it is about bringing the Christianity into the family is very important. Um, n- I'm not disrespecting the other religions, but if you, whatever the faith you follow, you got to bring it to your family. And you, as parents, really need to be conscious of that from the morning you woke up to the time you go to sleep. And because with our experience, since probably the last year, since 2020 with the pandemic, we are so glued to computers, our kids are so glued to computers for school and things, and the whole idea of values are shading away. We, even though we try so hard, we are not happy in terms of bringing enough values to our children. And the whole value system are changing. It's about for example, I would say, like, our kids are in the computer attending class, they have so much temptations because they have access to internet, and they can misuse those opportunities. So how you will make them so conscious? No, you have to be trustworthy. You have to, even though your teacher is sitting far away and you have all access to your keyboard, how can you be trustful for that teacher sitting in front of you? So these are not things that we had before, right? I mean, even before the pandemic, they used to go to school, teacher can see them whether they're doing work or not. But now the whole value system also changing, so accordingly we have to adapt. How? We have to bring our Christian elements, that never changes. What if we are following whatever the situation we are in, if we can bring those values to our family, that what the church teaches, what the Bible say, what exactly Jesus simply said also is good enough. So as parents, you got to be conscious of bringing those Christian values to the family. And also one other thing is, keep on challenging your kids. You show both sides of the story and challenge them to make a much responsible choice. That is what I've been doing. I mean, my young age, what I said that I got from the movement is how to be responsible in our choices. And that's exactly what you need to also bring to your kids, according to my view. Yeah.
Great, thank you. Manoj, I'm changing the question for you now, not the same.
Thank you.
you,
She's
are,
spoken most of it. Yeah.
you are most welcome. So, in a Catholic church, I'm sorry, means of course we have the respect for the all other religion faith, but the information is that this channel is only for the, like, we discuss about the Catholic church and we talk about the Catholic families. It doesn't, in that case we are conservative. Why we are conservative? Because for say, like, if you don't take care of your family, what Pinuka was trying to tell, they cannot serve outside. So like our Catholic church is our family, where we take our values, our family norms and things. So that's why we are conservative for our members, to focus on the Catholic values and practice and patronizing. So that's why in that case we are conservative, not to hit other people. No, means learning from the family, serving for everyone is something for the motto of this channel. So Manoj, the question for you is, you see, like, I was very upset one day when I get down from the bus uh, in, in somewhere in New York, and I saw there is a law office, and it's written, if you don't like the ring, we can help you to bring you back. So that means in the crisis in the Catholic Church, in the Catholic families, is the divorce happening, separation happening. So in that case, what is your call? Like you see, this now very easy. Everywhere you go, it's now becoming an advertisement. You don't like your ring, we can help you to bring you back. So in Catholic Church, we are against that. Like we don't have any practice of that. So what is your sharing in that triggers as a family? Why should not we think about staying together? Why the point of divorce coming up in your life?
Yeah, I think it is a myth, and it is wrong to say if young couples don't ever have thought of divorce. And it is often comes because the romantic life that often people have vanishes as you have kids and you have other priorities. And we are living in a very interconnected world where mobility allows you to meet other people, and you do build up relationships, and there are also different paths and choices that people take. We don't know exactly why couples want to divorce. That's my experience. We have friends who have divorced. We have families who talk about it. But we are in a conservative world where some people dare not talk about divorce because they want to leave the baggage. But in this, we have to ask, what is our Catholic calling, the Christian calling? One of the most important thing is the whole idea of communication and talking about the issues that troubles you most, especially the conflicts, misunderstandings, for various reasons. So we are called to be good communicators in Christian families, to talk about our own struggles, problems, and also the importance of the faith. As Menu was saying, if the family is not united in prayers, is not able to go together for sacraments, is not able to understand what is that we are called to be part of the church, then it's very easy to be distracted. It also talks the importance of having hope in the family life, because it is the belief in the church that it is not just two people united, it's God who unites us. And there is that bigger call that unites us, and in that belief is that there is God existing, and in this God that we come together as husband and wives. Yeah, so we as Catholics, we are called to discern this also as a vocation, because we often think vocations as priest. And my advice to young people is, don't rush to get married. You meet a priest, meet other senior couples, meet successful jubilee holders, 25 years, 40 years, 50 years. There are a lot of people in our community. Talk to them how they survived, or how what sustains their family. I'm no expert. We're married for almost 12 years. Like, we can't give much thought in it, but in my personal experiences, it's talking, it's communicating, it's to remind us that Jesus binds us. Is part of this, the unseen guest in our family. And it's also the offsprings. It tells you of the children that we have, that we need to be honest with them, and we need to be a good parents, good examples to them. And that is why we need to strive, work hard, and we need to look beyond. And asking forgiveness is key. If we are not able to forgive one
Humble.
another and be humble,
Humble.
humble that we do mistakes, and are you able to accept who we are, regardless of the limitations that we have or the baggages we have. So young people today also, my cousin got married in one part of the world. We saw the wedding online, and our wish is that they should have a peaceful, loving, and a prosperous life. And health is one of the bigger important things. We take vow to take care of the health, and health triggers one another. Finances trigger. Most of the conflicts are because of finances. And that is why we need young people to understand that economic freedom is equally important for not only for men, but also women. I know how Menu is so liberated because she earns money, and that gives her the freedom, that gives her a voice in the family. And this whole hierarchical patriarchal society that we live, saying that man is the boss of the house, woman is the home minister, blah blah blah, those are cultural baggages that we need to forget, go back, and understand that the Christian calling, why Jesus came. Jesus came to break those cultural baggages. But often we are caught up in those baggages, and we come back from traditional, we follow some traditional cultural values are wrong, which are contradicting the Christian values. So you are a Christian first in the society. So there is a challenging times, but each family is unique. The call is for the family to pause, take a break, maybe don't talk, spend some time in silence, talk to somebody else,
I
and
think role of father mind is
yeah, like our marriage also was we was also very unique because we two nationalities meeting. We never had foreigners in our houses getting married to each other. And role of Father Mike, our chaplain, he's still our spiritual advisor
in the family.
in the family. So he has given us a kind of a Chinese shine. If you have problem, bring it. So but there are times that we called him up and talked to him, and he listens to me separately, he listens to her separately. So the idea is that you have to be upfront, and it's not all everything is great and what you picture in the Bollywood or Hollywood movies. Family life is a calling, and is a calling that is a challenge in the church today, and we need to be good witnesses, to be examples for the younger generation to understand family life. Yeah, that's a Bonnie. It's a long, it's a long discussions we can have, but I think we need
Right.
educated couples in the society today, and the role of the
Exactly.
Catholic families are more important. When we talk about secularism, we talk of abortions, and many other conflicts and debates that the society is in conflict with the Catholic teachings of the church. So the Catholic teachings of the church, he contradicts, or the society is in contradiction with the Catholic social teaching. So it is a call, it takes formation. That is why the young people need to be admitted to Catholic schools. So the parish priest should find out if your parish student is missing in your parish, and why the student is not in Catholic. If the fundamental understanding is not done, he is a failed priest, sorry to say, because he is not creating a generation of young people who will have Catholic formation. So most of us sitting here, among three of us, we value the Catholic formation because we went to a Catholic school, because the priest who mentored us, or the Catholic teacher who, or the catechisms, or the nuns. Now that factor is missed when a student is in a secular school where you don't talk about religion, and that's is a key point that the church fathers, the priests, have to think, where is the Catholic students. So we believe that as family members, that if you have great formation in your families, that is why the parents are key. If the parents are not able to give that formation, it is the school that provides us or the church that provides us. If any of it works, it's great. But maybe any of these threads do not work, you have a disaster. You will have half-baked Catholics and who are not able to profess their and practice their life as a true Christian.
That is very true, and that's very valid point you have just raised regarding the Catholic school education of the Catholic kids. That's very true, and looks like you are very true. Like it is a need. If we say about the missionaries before, like the missionaries, they used to come to develop the schools, develop the how to say the families. When people don't have the house, they help them to build a house. When there was no sanitation, so they taught them agriculture. Now in this era of 2021, I would say like the Catholic Church need to focus on more on the Catholic schools. And uh, I know the Catholic schools are very expensive, and all family cannot afford it. So it should be a challenge we can do to our Pope, to the Holy Father. The Holy Father, you should look at the families and the kids. Holy Father should think of like making more Catholic schools and ensure Catholic students in Catholic kids in enrollment in the Catholic schools, and that should be without less money. Even the family can afford, they will give. Those who cannot afford, they still need to bring them, because in this era, uh, everything is so open, so liberal. We cannot hold our kids if they go out like any other schools. They are with the Facebook, they are with everything, but at least we can send our kids to the Catholic schools for certain, like they will be learning about the Catholic Church, they'll be learning about the Catholic values. So I think it should be a global issue we should raise for the Catholic families to the Catholic Church to focus on the Catholic school, worldwide.
Yes, absolutely. I think it is
Very important.
it is very important, and it's something that the local church can do also. And the Holy Father can give some advice and
Yeah.
issue some letters, but ultimately it depends on the parish priest, because the family is connected to the parish, to the church. If the parish priest has an interest in the value formation, not just the spirituality, because the school is a formation. It's an environment that creates you to be a different person. When I passed out of a Salesian school in West Bengal, we were just three Catholics in an Anglo-Indian school, which is dominated by non-Christians. So the idea is that why this two or three? I've been privileged. I got scholarships to study. I'm grateful to that. But I know there are many youngsters today who send their kids to government schools. Not that the government schools are bad, but they by default they send because it's free education, because the food is given during lunchtime, and because maybe the student is not performing well in the Catholic schools, and they are freeing the students. So the parents are afraid to send their kids to Catholic schools because of maybe finances, because of pressure, because of their name status. Yeah. So there are a variety of reasons. One needs to do research to understand in each diocese where is the missing factor, what is happening, because it might be very uniquely different in the diocese of Dhaka or the diocese of Punnur in Kerala, where we are. We know here in Kerala, which is a highly literate state in the country, we have a lot of young Catholic students who are not able to finish their schooling properly. And we know for the fact that many of these young people have no access to Catholic schools. So the idea is that you need to go to a Catholic or a Christian school to have that values formed. Pandemic, everybody is online. Imagine next 2 3 years is gone online. They are not going to church. Where do you do? Where do you get the formation? It is the online catechism classes, online Sunday classes that the parish organizes that needs to bring and focus. And it should be a long-term plan how we should get our Catholic students back to the campus. It
Right.
could be maybe a campaign of the YCS.
Right. And I'm very agree with you, and I would like to add the human should counted human as a human. Means what I try to mean is, if you need to, if you want to enroll your kids, they need to face the admission test. So my point is, why you need the admission test? Because like we are sending our kids to be educated, right? It's not that I will make my kid to be, it means our kids will be educated at home, and then they need to go to the school and they need to prove that they are educated, then they will take them. So means very easily, let me tell you, means I feel there shouldn't be any admission test. Number one. Number two, like at the early journey point, like when we say that young kids goes to the school, and if they discouraged about the result, which is not good for their mental health, and in that case I am totally not agree about the admission test and thing. uh, so like if we need to, if my kid need to face the admission test, so then why should I send my kid to the school? What is the point of sending my kid to the school to let them learn about the alphabets? I'm not sure that you are getting me or not. So
Yeah, we get you, Bonnie, because that is the only way to decide because the supply is little because schools are very few. Parents want to send their kids to the best schools, so the school creates an assessment, but unfortunately, the assessments are also targeted on Catholic students by the Catholic schools. And this is mainly because we are governed by so-called principals who have a few decades of experience of sitting in the chair. I jokingly tell to my youth director back in Delhi that it is easier to get an appointment with the Holy Father or the Secretary of State, but very difficult to get appointment with some arrogant principals of the diocese. Because they think they are super mega powerful human beings who have this leadership of 2000 students, 100 teachers, mega building. So I think it's the Catholic Church needs to deeply think the role of priest today. The role of the priest is to accompany the Catholic community in the spiritual formation, not to be tijori owners, because school is all about money and finances. And in economics, they say follow the money, and it tells you a lot of this dynamics. Unfortunately, the church also knows this, but I also know that some of the bishops are helpless because we allow federal system in the church because it's independent, because the school is responsible is the rector or the principal, so you don't interfere in their affairs. Unfortunately, I and you can talk here, but it's going to take ages in this part of the world. It requires to change. It requires a young generation of vocations in the church who are educated in a different thought. Nowadays, Catholic parents are not sending students to Catholic schools because there is huge competition of better facilities, better equipped, better learning processes than a traditional branded Catholic school or a convent. Take every country, you take especially India, Sri Lanka, there's alternatives to Catholic schools. So then why are Catholic schools created? That is the question that we should ask. The Catholic schools were created fundamentally to give formation to the Catholic students of the local community, local archdiocese. If a kid is missing from a Catholic school in the archdiocese, it is the role of the Holy Father. Not only Holy Father is far away. Don't blame the Holy Father always. The local bishop, the local parish priest to be responsible. It's also the responsibility of the parish councils, because some of these parish councils are also it's just functionary. They are not able to see deep down problems from the sacraments they take. Are we able to track and journey with the student from the school to the campus, to the work? So unfortunately, it's a lot of interconnected problems. But I think what it tells us that we need to be hopeful of this complex, and that's where the movement helps us to talk critically of these issues, and we need to help the fathers of the church to make better sound Catholic policies, education policies, so that the poorest, and we are not talking about the privileged, we are talking about the tribals, we are talking about the poor Catholic who works hard, is not able to send the kid to any other private school, but the only alternative is government. I feel very disturbed. I feel angered sometimes, but I have understood over years that it is in this collaborative communication that the church will listen, and all the church has to transform to accommodate all what issues we are talking. We are talking education. It's also in many about also wages in the church uh, structures. Like lots of Catholics are working in hospitals, in schools, in organization. They are paid pittance. They work their life for the church, but unfortunately, the church has created a administrative management, financial management, which doesn't allow them to prosper. They will remain poor. The unfortunate idea is that we all have to work. Church needs to talk about entrepreneurship. Church needs to talk about wealth. How can a Catholic youth be an entrepreneur? Not always thinking that they have to wear nice fancy dress and go to office to work, but they can be entrepreneurs. And the pandemic is a great lesson for we as family, we as for the movement, for the church, to look how we can reorganize ourselves and be more creative to accommodate, because many people will not work from the offices. They will work in a different way. So we have a long way to go, but I think important thing is the value of hope.
Right. Thank you. Dear viewers, we are talking about the church to not to hurt anyone, but we are having discussion like what are the needs, or what are the lackings we experience. That is our personal sharing, but it's not to hit anybody, not mentioning anybody person to, or how to say that we are not intended to hurt
Yeah,
anybody.
I think we are not against the church. We are with the church.
Right.
We are the church. So it's an old idea, pre-Vatican stage, that church is that. Church is the people. Church is the lay people. Church is we. So we are with the church, but I think it is our duty as Christians, and it is as what Jesus would have done, and what it reminds. Go back to Jesus, and there's this fantastic Dominican theologian who was a former YCS chaplain in South Africa. He wrote this book, Albert Nolan, Jesus Before Christianity. And it reminds us as lay people to ask the right questions in a constructive manner, to remind that what would Jesus do if he was in the situation. And that's the wisest call when we look the reflection part. When you have a problem, what would have Jesus done if he sees that the Catholic students are not in school? You know, what would have Jesus seen that if we have broken families and nobody to guide them? You know, those are questions that we have, and that is why we have role of the priest in the church, and we look up to them because there are a lot of inspiring priests around the world, and we have shared a couple of priests in the shows, and the list can go on. And there are also nuns, and there are also lay people who are witnesses to the church. So it is in this witness that we are able to share frankly and openly. It is not hiding, because this is what I communicate to my archbishop also. So this is what I communicate to my parish priest also, and still we are able to talk. My idea is to we have to find solution, not to just target or criticize to say X and Y Z is. We as couple always would like to engage to see solution, and that is the real core of lay people, that you have to participate in the church to make solution. If you do not participate, you can do a tweet or write a page or put a Facebook post and be upset, don't go to church, don't leave the church, have terrible life, spread hatred. But that's not the calling that the formation of the YCS, the formation of a good Catholic student does. So I will go back to the roots, that we are trained and formed by priests to ask questions so that the church has a renewal. And it is in this renewal that the church will be significant in this world of contradiction, where the world is online, digital, not experiencing the sacrament that allows daily or in the Sundays. So I think we are a searching Catholic, and we need, our call is to search. And this I say with all the humility, that we don't know answers for everything. So we there might be a lot of viewers here who might have answers, who might write to you to say how creatively we can address. They could write to the archbishops or their local bishops, write to the priest, engage in some sort of communication so that they hear you, because many of them don't communicate. So keep the communication on and be a good witness to, and keep Jesus in your mind. What would have Jesus done in that situation?
Great.
Yeah, well, thank you for having us.
Oh no, thank you for your time. Minuka, the last word, if you want to add something. I know you are a very good speaker and listener too. Anything to add in the discussion, Minuka?
No, I think we have spoken a lot, and I want to actually appreciate what you're doing. Um, I mean, you are trying to use the modern technology and still do something that we would otherwise do. Like what would the church do? This is a kind of a connecting with people, and I think, Bonnie, you have done a very good job in that. I see in you that what vices taught us. So, like the ideas you're putting, many people would think of such things, but you have put it into action. And right now you're connecting us, to so many people that we have no idea about. And yeah, thank you for that. Thank you for building those connections and bringing forward the gospel values. Yeah, that I find it very, very unique what you're doing. So we were even talking about it, and we know it's Bonnie. So yeah. Yeah, I appreciate this, Bonnie, what you're doing.
অনেক
And
অনেক ধন্যবাদ বনি অ্যান্ড খুব ভাল লাগলো
Shimon,
কি you are able to ask questions and make us speak. I think we are also sharing, probably we are sharing what, and we are also listening as couples. Yeah, I think
yeah.
thank you
So
very
yeah,
much.
yeah. Of course, thank you so much for your time. And from now on, you are the part of the Seeking of Values family. So we have so far 175 episode, I think, today. You are the part of
Oh,
175
wow, that's nice.
episode is
Okay.
ongoing. So you are the part of.
Congratulations.
Congratulations, that's a long way.
Yeah, it's been and my inspiration is at the backstage. That's John Shumon Gomez. He is from Canada, Toronto. So he is doing everything what you can see in the studio. So I'm just talking, and he is the everything, and he always inspire me to go for the lives every day. Yeah. So
Thank you,
thank
John.
you. Thank you, Manoj, and thank you, Minuka. I found myself again like I born new because I have a
Yeah,
very
we actually miss you also very much. Uh, we often talk because we both belong to the same movement, and at least, once in 2 days, at least we talk about YCS. And of course, where that means talking about you all very much. Even small incidences we try to recollect, and most of them, very fun and things that brings happiness for sure. So yeah, thanks for connecting, Bonnie. We had a very, very good time, and all the best with what you're doing.
okay. Thank you so much, Minuka. Thank you so much, Manoj, and special thanks to um,
Good.
Gregory, Cardine, Matthew, and of course Gabriana Matthew. She's
Gabby,
Gabby's there. She didn't sleep yet.
Yeah.
where
She's
is she?
Gabriela, come. Bonnie uncle want to say hello.
okay. Okay,
Okay.
Gabriana is
She's around
coming.
somewhere.
She's
Yeah,
coming,
yeah,
right?
she's coming. Run, run, quick, say bye bye.
Okay.
Goodbye, goodbye.
Uh,
Hmm.
okay, and thank you, Gabriana. Thank you, Gregory, for your wonderful songs. Hope you get ready with your song list. Maybe 10, 12. We'll have some song with you in live one day. Okay. All right.
Okay.
So thank you so much again for your valuable time and your contribution today. Hope it will enrich our archives. So you all take care. Bye. Thank you. God bless all of us.
Bye.
Bye. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you. Thank you.
Namaskar, brother. Um, dear viewers, we spent some time with a young couple. Um, and they are, I would say, a very unique family in regards, like both of them, they served the YCS internationally, and they start serving as a YCS leader. I would say like the very like professional coordinator, like they work professionally internationally, and that was in their very early age, when the time they're supposed to focus on their career, but forgetting about that, they focused on the movement, focused on the service of the church. And we saw that how they're still believing about their destination. They have completed their studies and they're still studying, and they have the desire to study more. So the point of discussion today is to reflect among the families that what Manoj and Menuka was trying to tell, that let's try to, how to say, the break all the trends and myths what we have in our family practice. Like, we still can study. We can see they have kids. They have two kids, one boy and one girl. They are also students, and like if we look at the girl Gabriana, she's like 3 or 4 years old. So still they're studying after managing Gabriana and Gregory. So I would say that our families have no excuse these days if we really see the life of Manoj and Minuka, that they are managing everything. They are doing full-time work besides full-time student, and connecting with the world, talking with the issues. They're concerned about the current issues, and they always think about the church. So, as a Catholic family, every family is a part of a church too. So maybe we need to think twice that what's our role as a Catholic families to contribute to the Catholic Church. Um, Thank you so much for watching. Today, our theme was seeking of values, dedicated young couple and experiences. And the slogan is, "Here we are, Lord, if you call us." So that's what we're looking if God call us. Dear viewers, our program was broadcasting live from Toronto, Canada. John Shumon Gomez is at the backstage. If you want to come to our channel, please feel free to communicate with us at our email, johnbonny19@gmail.com. And of course, don't forget to subscribe our YouTube channel, Seeking of Values. You need to subscribe it if you really want to be with us. So if anything happens, you will be notified. And of course, feel free to share your ideas. And of course, we are here for you. And please be safe as the Delta variant is around. So let's follow the local rules, wear the mask, act safely. May God bless us all. Take care. Peace be with you.